Good day, everybody. Today I'm presenting my primary study for the discussion of my topic, are parenting styles associated to academic achievements and does this relationship vary across culture? The reason why I chose this topic is because the way parents bring up their children is extremely important. All of us was once a child, and most of us would have parents who nurtured and in a way brought us to where we are today. So the way parents bring up their children sets as a foundation as to how they would eventually make life decisions as they grow and develop. So the topic of my primary study would be based on Parenting Style and Academic Achievements of East Indian and Canadian Adolescents by Rashmi Garg and Elizabeth Levine from the Psychology Department at Laurentian University, Diana Richnick from the Department of Public Health Sciences at the University of Toronto, and lastly, Carol Kobe from the School of Social Work at Laurentian University. So before going on to the research paper, it's best we familiarize ourselves with what parenting style is. So what is parenting style? It is the psychological construct which represents standard styles that parents use for child rearing. Over the years, many research have proven a link between parenting styles and children's development. And one of the most prevalent research was done by Diana Bumrid in the 1970s, where she was able to break down parenting styles into four main types, which accounts for a child's development. These parenting types include authoritative parenting, authoritarian, permissive, and neglect parenting. All these parenting styles are characterized on the degree of parents' demandingness and responsiveness. For example, authoritative parenting is high on both demand and response. These parents use behavioral and monitoring control for their children, but also provide reasons for their demands and encourage communication within the family. Authoritarian parenting, however, has greater demand but lower response. They have harsh disciplinary attitudes for their children and rigid boundaries. For permissive parenting, these parents have greater response but lower demand. These parents set few, if any, rules and exert very little control over their children. Whereas for neglectful parenting, these parents provide neither demand nor response for their children, and the child has complete control over their life decisions. So many research has proven that out of all these parenting styles, authoritative parenting results in better academic achievements for the children. However, these research are mainly based on Western cultures, thus bringing out the question as to whether this correlation is the same across other cultures. So, my primary study would investigate the link between parenting, family characteristics, and adolescents' academic results based on a sample of Canadian and East Indian adolescents. This would allow us to see if the supposed correlation is indeed the same across two totally different cultures, the Eastern culture and the Western culture. So this research has three main hypotheses. The first is, higher authoritarian parenting styles were expected out of East Indian adolescents compared to Canadian adolescents. Secondly, Canadian adolescents with authoritative parents were expected to report higher level of family interaction and academic achievements than those of other parenting styles. Lastly, East Indian adolescents with authoritarian parents were also expected to have a higher level of academic achievements as compared to those of other parenting styles. So who are the participants of this experiment? Well, this experiment comprises of 74 East Indian students from the city of Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, India, and 1,054 Canadian adolescents across Canada. These teenagers were in an age range of 13 to 15-year-olds. So what's the methodology of this research? Well, this experiment was conducted by having participants complete a self-report instrument that examines general demographic information, school achievements, family characteristics, and perception of parents. These questions were adapted from the standardized skills and from a study on science career choices of Canadian adolescents. For academic achievements, the results were measured based on previous year's grades in subjects such as language, mathematics, and science. Grades were then rated on an 8-point scale, 1 being mostly Ds and 8 being mostly As. The instrument also examines family characteristics based on family communication, parental concerns, and family cohesiveness. These data were then collected on a 5-point scale. The child's perception on parents examines the parenting style, which is conducted by questioning the participants on parents' involvement and supervision within the family. So, moving on to the results of this experiment. The result of this experiment showed, as predicted, a significantly higher percentage of East Indian students having authoritarian parents than Canadian students. As you can see, 35% of East Indian students reported having authoritarian parents compared to only 19% of Canadian adolescents with authoritarian parents. Canadian adolescents with authoritative parents also reported higher level of parental concern, family discussion, family cohesiveness, and academic achievements as compared to those of other parenting styles. So in contrast to this, Canadian adolescents that reported having neglectful parents reported having lower family interaction and academic results as compared to those of other parenting styles. So as you can see here, those of neglectful parenting had a result of 6.18, while the rest had 7.26, 6.7, and 6.62 respectively. However, in spite of this, East Indian adolescents did not show significant correlation for parenting style and academic achievements. As you see here, 34% reported having authoritative parents, while only 26% reported having neglectful parents. This difference is relatively big, however, the difference in academic results was not that significant. Those of authoritative parents showed 5.50, while those with neglectful parents got 5.47, hence showing a difference of only 0.03. In fact, East Indian students with authoritarian parents had slightly lower academic results as compared to those with authoritative parents. This is the only finding that did not support the hypothesis made by the research. So, the conclusion of this study is that although Canadian adolescents with authoritative parenting reported higher level of academic achievements compared to those of other parenting styles, this was not the case for East Indian students. Findings did not show any significant correlation between parenting styles and academic results for East Indian students. This lack of correlation supports the many recent studies that prove parenting style is not similarly related to adolescents' competence in all ethnic groups. Thus, these findings prove that Western-based parenting styles may not fully capture the cultural differences in the type of parenting that influences an adolescent's academic achievements. Although throughout all these conclusions, this proves that Western-based may not be similar to those of Eastern-based or Asian-based. So, this experiment also has its limitations. Firstly, all of the family data provided for the family-based questions in this experiment was given by the students themselves. These students may not be taking other factors that influences a family structure. Thus, it may not be entirely reliable. The results of the study would have been more significant if the information were from the parents themselves. The sample size of the East Indian students is also a concern, as it is significantly lower than the sample size of that of Canadian adolescents, which is 74 to 1,054, respectively. This difference may result in a relatively weaker statistical power for results that consist of East Indian students. Hence, findings should be recreated with a greater number or an approximately equal amount of sample size for both East Indian and Canadian adolescents. Therefore, more cross-cultural research needs to be done in order to find whether there truly is a variation or link between parenting styles and academic achievements, both longitudinal and short-term experiments. This would allow parents to better know which parenting practices would better improve their child's academic performance across cultures and if there truly is any link. So that is all for my presentation today. Thank you everyone for listening.